Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have bees. According to all known laws of aviation, bees should not be able to fly. Okay, yeah, get rid of that copy pasta. Regardless, very cool deck. It's shaping up to be one of my favorites. It's a bit of a mid-rangey deck, and I've always liked link spam a good bit, and insects doing that and taking advantage of tons of niche cards that otherwise would never be enabled without the Beetroopers are just really cool, and I will be showing a few combos, and but before that I'll just go over the card by card. Two Retaliating C. It is inherently a normal summon, but the lines with the normal summon are a bit crusty. So while it is a normal summon, we are just running two because it does help consistency and all, but overall it's just worse than everything else in the normal summon category. It's also in a macrocosmos while it is face up, um, which is kind of cool. It's searchable hand trap, but let's be real, unless your opponent's activating like Zodiac Barrage, you're not going to be resolving it. Um, Resonance Insect, Scout Buggy, and Sting the Poison, all of them are normal summons. All of them do similar things. Resonance Insect specifically has a special line for it, and I will be going over both the Resonance Insect line and the both double starter lines. Well, I call them double starters. Basically, they just put two insect bodies on the field with one card, and any normal summon plus any extender enables the entire deck. So Resident Insect, it suffers from not once per turn syndrome, where you can just trigger it again and again and again very easily. You're just usually searching off Doomdozer, banishing Resonance Insect plus any other insect to summon the Doomdozer, dumping Goki Pole, and then just searching anything. That's the bread and butter play with the Resonance Insect. Well, you don't search anything, you dump Goki Pole, search something. Sometimes you might even have to dump a Sting the Poison in order to set up for a Papillion during your opponent's turn. But regardless, really cool card. Scout Buggy, normal summon or special summon another Scout Buggy. Really neat card to have in your graveyard. Sometimes you might send it off Resonance Insect in order to trigger a Beetrooper formation on your next turn by searching it off a Sting Lancer or something. But regardless, Scout Buggy, it gets two bodies on the field on normal summon, and that is very important. Sting the Poison, it's similar where you can search any Battlewasp monster, and half the Battlewasp monsters in this deck so summon themselves, Twin Bow and Pin being my cases in point. Both of them just summon themselves from your hand. Twin Bow summons itself for no cost whatsoever, and it doesn't really require any other setup on the field. And Pin just summons itself as long as you control an insect monster, which is really cool. Um, and overall, it's just really nice. If you're summoning it off Papillion on your opponent's turn, which you will do often because it has a second effect in order to tribute another insect and negate the effects of one of your opponent's monsters. Um, on that At that time you'll be searching Arbalest instead, and Arbalest is able to just when it's normal special you can summon another level 3 or lower insect from your field from your graveyard. So you'll be able to revive the Sting, get another search for another card, and overall just a link climb to oblivion. Um, that being said, those are all our normal summons. Next up we've got Primitive Butterfly. It's a one-off extender. It's not that great in multiples, but regardless, it's an extender. You know, you want the as many insect extenders as you can get, as many as you can fit. So one Primitive Butterfly, triple Scale Bomber, a Beetrooper extender. Really cool as it helps chain blocking stuff like Sting the Poison and Scout 2, which is fairly important, and it's also able to it kind of has a Ghost Ogre like effect on the field, and it might come up sometimes when you're breaking a board, but regardless, it's really not going to come up. Twin Bow, it's arguably the best extender in this deck since it's able to summon itself with no condition whatsoever. It's not like Primitive Butterfly where you need to control no monsters. It's not like Scale Bomber where you need normal special summon something. It's not like Pin where you need to just have an insect. Twin Bow overall is just really good. Regardless of the condition of the field, you're always able to summon it, and that's why we are just maxing it out. And it's also an extender, so no reason not to play it. Pin the Bullseye. It is an extender, but that is not the important part. The important part is that it can inflict 200 damage to your opponent, and that is absolutely monstrous and game winning. This card should get banned as soon as possible. Doomdozer. banish resonant insect summon itself. It's also recyclable off Pika Felina, so you can resolve multiple resonant insect search Doomdozers in a turn. So, really cool play. Uh, Humongous, it's a searchable kaiju. No reason not to play it. Helps break boards. Sting the Lancer, it's good in your hand. It's good to summon off Invincible Atlas. Really nice card. It can act as a DD Crow. It can search a Solemn Strike. It can search a Monster Reborn. It's very versatile. The only bad thing about it is that it requires setup, which is why we're only running at 2, and it is also searchable. Often you will require the 2 copies, and you will have both of them in rotation, so no reason not to play 2. If you want, you can cut 1, but I wouldn't really advise that unless you're hard going into stuff like Contact C, and you know for a fact that Contact C is 1000% better in the scenario we're in. Like, game 2 or 3, if your opponent is on a deck that just dies to Contact C, only in that scenario would I side out 1 Sting Lancer maybe. 2 Arbalests, the 2 copies do come up, but it's when it's normal special when you can revive an insect. That's pretty much all it does, and it does come up in the combos featuring Gokipole, so that's something. Speaking of Gokipole, really neat card. When it's in the graveyard, you can search an insect. I'm not running a normal insect for its effect to summon the insect too. I just felt that the normal insect is a bit too bricky, and if you're able to avoid a brick, then you might as well avoid it. No reason to run the insect when you're able to just go into an Arbalest plus a Armor Horn setup. That's it for our main insect package. For hand traps, we've got triple Ash, triple Bell, triple Imperm, pretty standard. And for spells and traps, we have Formation plus Sting. Honestly, I'd cut a hand trap for Imperial Order. Like, you're running 1 spell. Why would you not want to run Imperial Order on top of that? But regardless, most of the hand trap lineup can be changed, and the package being 31 cards can be a bit chonky. But if you really want to be a daredevil, you can cut off some extenders too. But I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't advise it at all. For our extra deck, we've got Zeus, Downed Magician, Giga Brilliant, and Cicada King for the Xyz monsters. Giga Brilliant is just the beefiest rank 3 insect monster. Since if you're just going into something like Scout Buggy, you will be locked into insects, so you can overlay 2 into Giga Brilliant, hit for some damage, go into Downerd into Zeus, and blast their board open. A Cicada King is not that bad as a turn 1 option, since it's able to reborn some stuff. If you're able to get a Sting the Poison in your graveyard in rotation, then this can act as 2 negates instead of the 1 negate that Fly and Sting offers. So sometimes in those scenarios you will want to summon a Scout Buggy instead of Sting the Poison off Invincible Atlas. Next up, we've got the 2 Invincible Atlas. It's a really nice boss monster, and you do often go through both copies, so that's neat. It's able to summon any Beetrooper monster, and it can tribute itself for that effect. So you're able to summon stuff like Sting Lancer, Scout Buggy. You're not summoning Scale Bomber. Do not summon Scale Bomber under any circumstance. And it can also go up to 5k attack. So that is a pretty neat effect, and overall worth the slot. Access code, it's an insect link spam deck. If you're able to not lock yourself into names, and it's not actually that hard to not lock yourself by linking stuff into Pika Felina and reviving Armor Horn, stuff like that. It's not too difficult to get into a access code. And with attributes, you've got Earth and Dark bottom tags. You also have Papillion, I guess, but yeah, you do often get Papillion. It's 3 attributes, let's say. Being able to bust your opponent's board broken is really good. This deck is not half bad at busting boards, so that's something to keep note of. Double Papillion. It's an end board option if you have Sting the Poison in your graveyard. The play is during your opponent's turn, summon Sting, search Arbalest. I use Sting to get a negate and whatever, wait for it to get being over. Then during your next turn, you can normal summon Arbalest, summon back Sting, search another dude, and you have enough extension to go into another Pico Felina play all over again, which is really insane. We've got the triple Armor Horn. You do often go through all 3 copies. Since it is the most it's the most important link monster, arguably, since it does enable a lot of plays that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. Stuff like getting an extra normal summon off Gokipole search is very, very good, and it can also revive itself by banishing other insects and triggering Resonance Insect's effect. So it does give you an extra link to insect body. It gives you an extra body from your hand. It does a lot of things that insect link spam needed in order to work. Picofelina, it's very good since it gets access to Resonance Insect, and as long as you get access to Resonance Insect, you're winning half your games from there. It also has a mini part of Avarice effect, which we will use routinely, just to shuffle back maybe a Doom Dozer that you used for Resonance Insect, something like that. So Picofelina is really nice. Now that the deck profile is done, let's go to the combos. For our first combo, we have any way to get 3 insect bodies on our field. I wasn't running it, I was just using it as a extender purpose. I'm twisting my tongue. Regardless, I just want 3 insect monsters on the field, and we will be getting those 3 bodies. It does also require a discard, so keep that in mind. We use the game-winning effect of Pin the Bullseye that time in the round, but enough playing around. We go into the Picofelina, discard whatever card we want, equip a Resonance Insect, we go into Armor Horn. Resonance Insect will trigger its effect, searching Doom Dozers, banish to get Doom Dozer, Resonance Insect to dump Gokipole. Gokipole will search another Resonance Insect, because it's not once per turn where you go into the Invincible Atlas. Resonance Insect search another card, will search Contact C. This can also be a Sting Lancer, and game 1 I will recommend going for Sting Lancer since it is a DD Crow, and most people would rather main DD Crow than main Contact C, and that's kind of a fact. But we'll banish 3 for Invincible Atlas. Invincible Atlas will go ahead, dump a Scout Buggy. This will set up some plays for next turn. It's actually a lot better if we search the Sting Lancer because of the fact that we do have Scout Buggy in rotation. But going on, the Sting Lancer will search the Psalm Strike, and this does just seem like Psalm Strike pass. Yeah, it's a Psalm Strike, Contact C. Contact C does hurt a lot of decks right now, so keep that in mind. But the thing is, this deck, it can do a lot of things on the crackback. For example, we're going to use Beetrooper, Armor Horn to get another Sting Lancer. Sting Lancer search the Monster Reborn. This would be the line you'd get the Monster Reborn regardless if this was Sting Lancer instead of a Contact C. We're going to go ahead and reborn a Scout Buggy. Scout Buggy summon another Scout Buggy, overlay into Giga Brilliant. And that is exactly 8,100 damage on the board. Even if you fail to do it, you can link off the Atlas and then go into a Zeus or something. I don't know, but this is just to showcase the bare minimum the deck can do, which is 3 insect monsters, translates into 2 disruptions. Next up for our next combo. For combo number 2, we need Resonance Insect, any extender, and any discard. Instead of needing just a starter, this is Resonance Insect plays. We're going to go into an Armor Horn instead of Picofelina first, and we will search Doom Dozer. Doom Dozer banishes Resonance Insect will dump Gokipole, and then we'll search a Arbalest. Armor Horn will normal summon Arbalest in order to summon back the Gokipole, and we can link into Pico. Pico will discard in order to go and equip to Armor Horn. That will trigger both our Seraphim and our Resonance Insect. Resonance Insect will search Sting Lancer. As I said, this can also be a Kaiju, it can be Contact C, it can be any viable target. We'll use Seraphim in order to get tokens. Armor Horn will banish 3 monsters, including the Resonance Insect, in order to dump a summon itself, and in Resonance Insect will dump the Sting the Poison. This is important in order to reborn it off Seraphim during our opponent's turn. We'll link into a Invincible Atlas and will tribute itself off for Sting Lancer. Sting Lancer will search the Fly and Sting as a monster negate and pass. This may not seem like much, but it is 3 disruptions plus a crap ton of follow-up. Seraphim will be able to summon back Sting. Sting will go ahead search an Arbalest. This will allow you to extend further during your next turn by reviving a Sting, or if Sting doesn't die, you can also revive a Gokipole, or if you want, you can artificially send the Sting to the graveyard using Picofelina and then reborn it off Gokipole that way. But at that point, you're better off just using Seraphim in order to reborn stuff. But yeah. We'll be able to use Sting Tribute off the Sting Lancer to negate 1 card. You can use Sting Lancer in order to turn itself into a DD Crow. You'll be able to search the Monster Reborn field spell. You'll be able to get a Monster Negate, a recurable Monster Negate at that. You'll be able to normal summon this card and get an extra Monster Reborn, generating a lot of advantage. Overall, this is my favorite line, and it is just extremely sticky and difficult to out. Finally, we have the Retaliating C line. Retaliating C plus any an extender. It does still end on 3 disruptions, but it will be a bit sus. We will have less field presence, but if you're fine with that, you're fine with that. More consistency is more consistency. So Retaliating C can search Resonance Insect, and we'll use Armor Horn to normal summon that Resonance Insect that we search. We'll link into another Armor Horn. We can use Resonance Insect to search a Sting Laser. Yes, we are not searching Doom Dozer for the very first time. We've made history right here. But regardless, we'll use Armor Horn's Graveyard effect, banish 3 summon itself. Resonance Insect will trigger its effect, dumping a Sting. Sting is important because of what we're going to do right here. We'll go into an Invincible Atlas, summon Scout Buggy will summon another Scout Buggy, and then we'll overlay into Cicada King Pass. Yeah, that's 3 disruptions actually. If we sorry about that. If we go back to the Cicada King Pass moment, Cicada King, when your opponent activates the effect of a non-field monster, you can negate it and then reborn another insect. You'll be able to reborn Sting the Poison. Sting the Poison searches Arbalest, and that will translate into a good amount of follow-up. And then you'll be able to use Sting's effect in order to tribute the Cicada King in order to negate something. You can use Sting Lancer, put back one of your Scout Buggies in order to summon back itself, and DD Crow one of your opponent's monsters, and search the in archetype Monster Reborn. And that Monster Reborn is really good. Can it search? Yeah, it can. It can summon the Invincible Atlas too. So you'll have even more follow up. That way you'll have 5k attack beater. You'll have a lot of stuff. Arbalest can summon back Scout Buggy, summon another dude, make Giga Brilliant, go into Zeus. There are just so many things you can do on turn 3, and there's still 3 disruptions, by the way, off 2 cards. We've gotten at 0 an advantage, but we snowball on turn 3. You can see why I dislike this line more than the other lines, simply because of how little field presence it leaves us with. But regardless, every line is a line, and if we have consistency, we have consistency. Overall, the deck is pretty neat. It has some cool options. It's mid-rangey. It's fast enough to be considered fun to play, and overall, it's pretty decent deck. If you want to pick it up, you can pick it up. I have no idea how much cards cost because I haven't even checked that. But having playable insects is extremely fun. No longer do you have to resort to the unga bunga ways of activate giant ballpark. Ew, disgusting. Beetroopers are cool. Konami, please get new support in Bode. See you later. Goodbye.